resulting in death. It is estimated right now 2 million people struggle with abuse. Now, one facility helping to fight this is the Scottsdale Recovery Center. So we're happy today to have David Larimer with us, the program director. We're talking about, we were just chatting off air about the fact that it seemed like this was somewhere else, perhaps. Not anymore. Arizona front and center now with this opioid crisis.
The trend actually took place, if you go back to when the meth situation hit the country. We did a great job with the public service announcements with the nasty, ugly teeth thing. That wasn't attractive for young people, so then they shifted to something they thought was less harmful, the heroin. And what we find in our center, we are licensed by the state of Arizona to provide behavioral health services to people with what's termed co-occurring disorders, which means they have a mental health issue, typically depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and the addiction, which complicates things. What we also find is that 90 to 95% of the folks that we work with have a post-traumatic stress history. So what we know is that it's not just an addiction. It's an addiction wrapped around mental health issues, which is wrapped around trauma history. And if you're not equipped to deal with all of those factors, as well as health issues, because now you have HIV/AIDS, you have Hep C, so you have a health issue as well. So it's a much more complicating factor. So one of the things that we have to absolutely do is adhere to the national best practices that are already out there. SAMHSA has published Tips 42, which is free, that outlines how you treat folks with co-occurring disorders. It's outlined in Tips 57, Trauma-Informed Care. And NIDA has actually said in order for you to have effective treatment, you have to be in treatment for at least 90 days.
So it's an ongoing process.
Absolutely.
You mentioned young people earlier. Are we seeing young people kind of an uptick in that as far as the age who are getting hooked on these opioids?
Part of our population is the 20 to 40-year-olds, 20 to 30, and what we're finding typically is a person doesn't start with heroin. Most of the time what we find is they start with prescription drugs, the Oxycontin, the Percocets, and it becomes too expensive for them to get that on the street, so then they just turn to something that's much more available, and that's heroin.
What does it look like? What should people, not just parents, but concerned family members, friends, co-workers, what should they be on the lookout for?
Well, first and foremost, you want to know your teenagers' habits. You want to know who they're hanging out with, what they're doing. You know, in the absence of positive alternatives, young people are going to find things. And I learned a long time ago, being a counselor, it only takes one person to pull your child down, and it only takes one person to lift your child up. So who they're associating with, what are they doing in their free time? What kind of activities are they involved in? What kind of skills are they learning from their parents in terms of life skills?
And sometimes I was just noting if their habits change, if their behavior changes. As a parent myself of a teenager, it's important to know, again, like you said, who they're hanging out with, but just a physical appearance sometimes changes as well, right?
Absolutely. They might be sleeping more, they might not want to go to school, they might have lost a job, they're not eating as much, they're looking gaunt. They're your children, and it's your house. So if you're not looking in their drawers, if you're not monitoring their behavior, then
be nosy parents. It's okay to be nosy parents. Give us the contact information for the program quickly.
It's Scottsdale Recovery Center. We're on 10446 North 74th Street, Scottsdale, Arizona. We have an 800 number, and we also have a 480 number that escapes me. You can contact my cell number, 602-300-6400.
All right. David Larimer, thank you so much. The opioid epidemic. Not the last time we're going to be talking about this either right here on ABC 15. Justin, back into you.